Good evening. The City of Hampton Workshop/Council meeting Tuesday, November the 13th, 2018 at 6:30 p.m. If you would stand for invocation by Dr. James Buffett and remain standing for the pledge of the flag.
Let us be in a posture of prayer. God, the source of our love, beauty, and all goodness, God of our weary years and our silent tears, in whom we experience mercy, grace, and peace. We thank you for this day of liquid sunshine and the change of seasons. Thank you for this community, positioned and poised for great destiny. Thank you for the leadership of mayor and council, concerned citizenry, and all those who make up this gathering and community. Thank you for the dawn of a new season and a new day for the city. We invoke your presence among us tonight as the council tends to the business of the children. We know you're faithful to us and faithful to keep your promises. We ask for your wisdom to lead and to guide decisions being made on behalf of the people. May our better angels attend our side as the meeting proceeds. We ask that what takes place here glorifies and honors you in the highest. May unity and your call to us to be servants and the example of Christ be realized throughout this community. Bless this meeting, bless the administration, staff, and all those who make this city go. In the name of him who was, who is, and who shall always be. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on, presentation. Mr. City Manager, Charles Tony, and new employee. For Employee of the Month, do we have one?
Yes, we do, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
We honor tonight a person who, unfortunately, I don't believe that she's here, but that's okay. I will call her name and the screen will be up for a while. But we have had excellent customer service in our utility department, and that I have seen throughout the storms that have come up in terms of someone asking me about extensions, but more importantly, in taking on additional job duties and responsibilities as we have gone through this transition. And so tonight, our Employee of the Month is Carol Baker. So in her absence, will everybody please congratulate her? And tomorrow, if you just drive through the utility, this is a surprise, so she doesn't even know. And just let her know that we so much appreciate the work that she has done.
Thank you, sir. Turn it back over to you for new employees.
Yes, Mayor. We're pleased to announce tonight that we have 3 persons who have joined our leadership team. The first was, as he performed his duties in the prayer, Reverend Dr. James L. Bumpus Sr., but we know him as Dr. James Bumpus, who is our new Director of Economic Development. He has hit the job running, and so if he would stand and this community and leadership would welcome him to his new position. We also are quite pleased to announce that we have our Director of Finance, a much-needed position on board, and Millie Shaw comes to us from strong government experience in terms of understanding how the complexities of setting up financial structures, and we are so pleased that we were fortunate enough to garner her. One of the selling items has always been Hampton is closer to your home. And so for her, we have reduced about an hour's worth of concrete asphalt driving so that she can come over here and lend herself to us. So would you please welcome Millie Shaw. In his absence, he is taking care of so many things for us. We are pleased to have finally filled the Director of Community Development. This was a position that was open when I arrived, and as I understand, it's been open for maybe even a whole year. But we were fortunate to garner someone who is not only a professional engineer, but he is certified an architect. He has a master's degree in water conservation. I could go on and on about his pedigree, but he has been a leader in helping the previous employment county work through their development issues as well as their zoning, and he too has already hit the job running. I will add that with his assistance, we have resolved 2 of the things based upon the new zoning ordinance. So in his absence, would you also welcome Frank Hanoi? And when he comes in the room, you'll know him because he's about 7 feet tall or something. So let's surprise him. When you see him come down the hall, let's just clap for him. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Approval of minutes, the October 9th, 2018, the regular meeting minutes. Need a motion to approve or disapprove?
May I make a motion to approve October 9, 2018, regular meeting minutes?
Any discussion? All in favor? Passed 6-0. October the 22nd, 2018, the special call minutes meeting.
May I approve October 22, 2018 special call meeting?
Have a second by Mr. Turner. Any discussion? All in favor? It passed 5-0, and you were out that day, weren't you? Oh, okay, passed 6-0, I'm sorry. October 29, 2018, the public hearing minutes.
Mayor, I approve October 29, 2018 public hearing minutes.
Do I have a second? By Mr. Turner. Any discussion? All in favor? Passed 5, and you were not here, 5-0.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I may interrupt, we have one of our special persons. Would you please welcome Franklin Owen, Director of Community Development.
I'm sorry, I had my face down in the book.
Mayor, before we go more, we also need a motion to approve the agenda. If you can see, you have approved an amended agenda. You have 2 ads that were not in the published agenda. So you turn to the back side, and I do believe copies were provided out front.
This resolution, I guess, the last one on I see would be 1836 and 1837.
Yes, it's the ad resolution number. There is not a number. There's not a number next to it. I don't know what number the clerk will assign, but if we can approve the agenda with those 2 additions.
Okay. Somebody need a motion to add, please, from the council person?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we amend the agenda to accept or add the 2 resolutions that have not been numbered yet.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Passed 6-0. Thank you, ma'am. Do we have anybody, yes, any elected officials here besides us? Okay. At this time, I do want to recognize, I want all the veterans in the room to stand up or come forward just here and for just a minute. Veterans, if you're a veteran out there in the hallways, please stand. Thank you to all of our veterans. We had an outstanding Veterans Day ceremony on Saturday. I had a proclamation that was presented at that ceremony, but again, for the public that volunteered to put the markers downtown to recognize all the 350 veterans that are dead and gone now, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you, veterans, for all you've done for our freedom. Thank you. Moving forward, your special guest. I've already presented the proclamation to Ms. Betty English for the Retired Educator Association. And like I said, I've already presented the proclamation honoring our veterans. Now, I want the Hampton High School softball team to come forward. And all of you get right here in front of us. And the coaches and Mr. Gore, I know he's here. All the coaches, managers, all of you please come forward. Stephanie, will you join me down front, please? Because you have a big part of this. What a beautiful group of women and gentlemen. This is a proclamation, Hampton High School Girls Softball 2018 Regional Champion, and it reads as follows. Whereas 2018 was a phenomenal year for the Hampton High School Girls Softball team, is that they finished the season with a 22-7 record. And won the regular seasonal regional championship, becoming the regional tournament champion. And whereas the team made it to the Elite Eight in Columbus, Georgia, and finished third in the state of Georgia for all 4 AA schools, which was the first time in the school's history. And whereas the coaching staff of Hampton High School girls softball team have done an outstanding job of establishing the culture of champions for the softball program and for the school. The team retreat is built on a positive and learn from the negative. And whereas the team head coach, Nicole Bailey, is assisting with Charlie Butt, remember? And she's not here. And the team. And I'm gonna let you call these names off because you know better than I do. And I'm afraid I'd mess them up, and I don't wanna do that. So if you'll just read on the roster off for me.
Yes, sir. Number 2, Tyler Ellison. Number 3, Taylor Reiner.
Raise your hand.
Number 5, Harley Thomas. Number 8, Olivia Witt. Number 9, Skylar Trahan. Number 11, Amaya McDaniel. Number 12, E. Maya Mumford. Number 15, Mackenzie Sapp. Number 17, Janice Shellhorst. Number 20, Sarah Matthews. 23, Dia Jones. 24, Michaela Thomas. 25, Callie Wilson. And 31, Morgan Sampson. And our manager, Nadia Thomas. Competitive reflection of the high standard of hard work, training, and sportsmanship, and now therefore I, Steve Hutchins, Mayor of the City of Hampton, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby congratulate the 2018 Hampton Girls Softball team on a historical season and urge the citizens of the City of Hampton to celebrate the example these young ladies have set with their pride and dedication to their craft. It is witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Hampton, Georgia, to be affixed this, the 13th day of November. Steve Hutchinson, Mayor. Congratulations. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a great round of Come back and visit. Y'all don't have to stay for the rest of the council meeting.
All the girls.
We'll take a minute because I know these young ladies want to get out, and we'll let the people stand in the hall come in and get a seat.
Come on, that's what we always do. Whenever I'm here.
All the girls go over there. They don't go all the time.
Please come on in, you fellas, and get a seat.
And she well, I gotta say, come on. Come on. Girl? Waiting for me. Come on. You got it. Okay. down there. Anybody need to sit down and turn. Like out.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's stop our talking now. If you need to talk, step out into the lobby. Okay, moving forward. Presentation, Georgia Municipal Station 2018 Youth Council Member Jessica Barr and Tina Terry. Are y'all here? Come on. Tell us about it. Just come to the podium back. You're facing? Yes, ma'am, you're facing me.
Good evening, y'all.
Hello.
How are y'all doing this evening?
Good, how are you?
Glad to hear it. All right, this right here is the Hampton Youth Council. I serve as chairman, my vice chair,
Hello, I'm Ivan O'Gara, Vice Chair of the Hampton City Youth Council. Blessed to be with you. Thanks so much.
and our secretary.
Caleb Baker.
All right. Last weekend, not last weekend, the weekend before last, we had the opportunity to go to the Georgia Youth Symposium in Tatiana, Georgia, where we got to communicate and talk with a lot of people from all over the state of Georgia, from Dublin all the way to Athens. It was insane. In the city of Tybee, it was very beautiful. There we learned of the systems they have in place for various natural disasters like hurricanes, tsunamis, and we just pretty much learned how prepared they would be in a state of emergency, as well as the opportunity we had to network with our peers.
Hi, I'm Jessica Barr. So when we went there, we were able to connect and network with other students and get some ideas for what we would like to see in our youth council. One of the main ideas that we really did get from there was teen court, which is basically where you have a panel of teenagers to basically decide what happens if a teenager does a misdemeanor. And that's something we found really interesting that we like to see here. Also, we saw some things like how to speak to elected officials and exactly like what we should be doing. Okay, so while we were in Tybee, we had the wonderful opportunity to meet all the council members down in Tybee. So one of the most influential people was obviously the mayor of Tybee. And he basically took us through how he dealt with the hurricanes down there because they are so close to the ocean. So he was just saying they have a whole bunch of programs lined up for conserving everybody and make sure that the evacuation is through the plane out and they have somewhere to go. And all of their revenue, well, they're having a large revenue set up. So if the situation was to happen again, they would be able to rebuild if it was possible. So I felt like that was really important for him to notice that it was a concern and to address the issue and go ahead and figure out a plan, for his citizens and everyone to just be safe and secure. And if there was a situation to happen, he knew exactly what to do.
Alrighty. Fast forward a couple days, and we find ourselves in Los Angeles, California, attending the National League of Cities 2018 Summit in California. Now that was a trip. It was fantastic. We learned so much. However, what we didn't know until we got there was it was more oriented towards the adults. However, youth, no older than 17 years old, took control of the program. They incorporated their own section. Over 200 delegates from across the United States got together and established a whole program within an adult-based organization.
Really, in Los Angeles, we got to see many sites. We were right down the street from the Staples Center. We went to Hollywood Boulevard.
Hello. So what we learned when we got there was Los Angeles had 18 million people within the city, which is pretty crazy considering that we're a much smaller city. But what we also learned is even though there is such a vast amount of people, they're very aware of their citizens there. they accept their diversity, they accept all the different opportunities that these people bring, and they give back to them, as well as offer them a safe home. And that was really important for what they're doing, because they are in huge cities dealing with wildfires, earthquakes, and everything, but they're just trying to hone in on creating a safe environment for everybody and making sure that they're inclusive. So that was also really important. So while we were in LA, we got the opportunity to go to the City Hall.
Previous slide, two slides back, two, other way, right there.
So while we were there, we went to the conference and we got the opportunity to meet one of the previous presidents of the National League of Cities, which is the conference that we attended. And he actually gave all of us a signed copy of his book that he wrote, and we are going to be reading it, studying it, and learning how to make an amazing city.
While we were down there, we got to go to Los Angeles City Hall. Los Angeles City Hall is roughly 27 stories tall. We got to go all the way up to the top. And the picture in the bottom right, you will see Ivan looking at images of previous mayors of the city of Los Angeles. And in the top left, you'll see Tania and Jessica talking with Ms. Garcetti's representative, Tanaza Goham. I cannot pronounce it.
Hello. What was really cool about this City Hall, they had a whole floor dedicated to one of their first ever African American mayors. It was the Tom Bradley Hall, and that's where it housed all of the previous mayors throughout the entire history of LA, because they've been established since 1781. So you could imagine how many people were in that one room. Also, it's really great because of the black minorities that are homeless in LA. They have come up with multiple programs to help eliminate the issue. So they have a Bridge Home Project, which creates communal areas for homeless people. So they have their own private areas, so they can have time to dress and be on their own. But they also help them with rehabilitation, whether it's mental, domestic violence, or anger issues, just finding a job or giving them a stable home. So that was also really important. Instead of them ignoring really big issues, they were saying, we're going to come up with this and we're going to make it work. He also is going to add to that. So the lady in the picture is Maria Chin. She basically talks about the importance of women in government and how, with the recent election, how there are a lot more women than there were, and the importance of it. Clarence Anthony, if you could go back to his slide. He's also the CEO of NLC, just to say a reference. He was elected city mayor in Florida in 1984. So he's been involved in government for a while. He's created an amazing opportunity to allow other cities to come in and share their own ideas and just to collaborate with others to give a good reference and give a good feedback on how everybody can feed off each other and network and make a better society.
While at the National League of Cities 2018 City Summit, we had the opportunity to, in person, watch a live session of the LA Mayor, Eric Garcetti, and the esteemed billionaire and engineer who is the CEO and founder of Tesla and the SpaceX program, Elon Musk. And we got to hear firsthand Elon Musk's intentions for the city of Los Angeles, which include building an entire underground highway system throughout the entire city of Los Angeles. He gave us estimates such as $1 million per mile to build in Los Angeles. $1 billion per mile, yes. And he's actually, and a solution, thinking like a true engineer, to that problem was he created a new company which would reduce the cost to $10 million per mile. So, problem solved.
Hi, I'm Lacey Robinson, and while we were in the city of LA, we got to connect with, like they said, recently over 300 city youth councils, not councils, but like children or youth in councils. But so like like, basically they were talking about, like, their problems in their cities and what they would like to achieve or accomplish to do in their city to make it better. I don't actually remember what youth council he was from, but I met a boy named Barry, and he was from Denver, Texas. I don't know. And so his name is Barry, and he was talking about like gun control and how like as our society we shouldn't, well not we, but people shouldn't be able to get the weapons or guns that people are getting today due to like mass shootings, I guess. And he was talking about how he feel like people people would that they shouldn't like be able to get those things due to the fact that they had a mass shooting killing over I think people in a church that was in his town or his city, and how like the education like they should children should the youth should be able to like have a chance to like speak more, and like he was saying like people, he was happy to be there due to the fact that he could be heard like from other youth, and people could actually listen to his problems and what he goes through, what they go through, and not just Denver, Colorado, other cities too, and what they go through, and like networking and things. And one of the networking things that we talked about were like, well, one of the, not projects, but one of the activities we did were like 1-minute introductions when we like go around, get 30-second conversation, try to get as many conversations in and meet as many people as we can. Like talk about what they would like to achieve in their cities, in their city youth council, and talk about like where you're from.
While down there, we got to talk to a council who managed to get their local voting age lowered to the age of 16 years old, participating in local elections at the age of 16. That is controversial. It really is. It really is. But they managed to do it. This proves the amount of influence youth have. It's phenomenal. Here we have a closing session with Mr. Vince R. Williams. He serves as the Georgia NLC board member for National League of Cities, and is also the mayor of Union City, Georgia. And that concludes our presentation.
Now I'm going to give my mayor pro tem and Councilman Mr. Brown, if y'all would like to have any comments.
So there's not too much more that you can say that these children did not cover, but I will tell you that it was an experience of a lifetime to watch our 7 students to perform in an excellent way and represent the city of Hampton well. The adults, we did get a chance to attend several meetings. One of the things that, one of the classes that I took was talking about how we can better help youth that may have some challenges, whether it is behavior or mentally, and how we can, as a council, try to incorporate them into our youth council program. So I was very excited to hear that information, and just really overall excited to see the youth really get involved with other youth across the country and pick up new things. They have been talking about some initiatives that they are looking to bring to the city of Hampton and propose to us, and we are ready to receive, accept, and to hear them out. One thing that I heard from all of the youth is that they have a voice and they want to be heard. So I just encourage each and every one of you to continue. I have one, Jessica, Lord Jesus. Yes, I called you out. But she is very outspoken, but with intelligence. She can understand, all of them can understand where we are at in society and where they would like to see our country go. Because at the end of the day, it is their country. We learned in all of our sessions, the one thing they kept saying to us over and over and over again is that they are not the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of today. And we have to remember that we're making decisions and we're trying to leave them out. We have to make sure that they are part of the conversation.
Councilman Brown?
Just to caveat a little bit on that, there was a lot of very good conversations, breakout sessions. There were, I think, 6 subcommittees under NLC that also had different sessions. And I was really impressed by the young people who we took to Los Angeles. They really represented our city well. In their maturity level, their understanding, their kids, for lack of a better phrase, but you know, they really stood up as really educated, knowledgeable young people, and I was very proud to be a part of it. I was able to sit in a couple of sessions, and one of which really impressed me was the youth education and family group. That group is chaired by the mayor of East Point, Ms. Ingram, Mayor Ingram. And in it, the youth actually do all the work. They develop the program, they facilitate the conversations, they document. They actually have a writer as part of that staff that documents and writes and put all the documentation together to build a program. So when it's all said and done, they're going to have a package program or a toolbox that could be shared with whoever is interested in sharing it and implement those programs within your city to address youth hunger. You know, we have an issue with that here in Hampton. And in that, they mentioned that the school should be the first point of contact or first point of reference for identifying students who are hungry. You know, we as community and we as community leaders should be those points of contact so that we're not overlooking or overseeing or letting some children fall between the cracks. There's a lot that was said there. I'd love to be able to share some of these PowerPoint presentations. Maybe we can put them on the website so that folks can go out there and look and just to see the level of information that was shared there. No one was there to work in a silo. They were all willing to talk to you, whether you're a youth or an adult. They're willing to share the things that work well in their cities and what didn't work well, and just offer the information so that you don't have to recreate the wheel and to kind of expedite getting your city up to where you want it to be. So it was a very good conference. I was really proud to be a part of it. Jet lag got me right now, so I'm running on fumes, but I think that our students represent our city very well and should be very proud of them. I am.
Thank you, sir. Committee updates, City of Hampton Youth Council, I think we've heard. Is there anything else, Mr. Brown? You got any?
That's all.
Mayor Pro Tem Tarkin? Okay. Public comment. Attorney King on behalf of City Manager Charles Tony.
I think as you all know, my name is Maurice King, and I'm an attorney in Albany, and I was here the last time, and I think, I don't know whether or not my comments were recorded, but I have an issue I think that I'm going to need the council to address. Back in September, I think around September 13th and 18th, I sent to the city some public documents request. I think as you all know that you have to respond within 3 days. It's been more than 3 days. The Documents were sent to Ms. Wilson. She sent me a letter on September the 20th, basically saying that she would, I guess, respond, and I've never gotten a response. Generally, what I do when I don't get a response is I refer it to the Attorney General's office for a violation of the act. I would appreciate it if the city council and mayor, as being the entity that is responsible for complying with the law, please comply with the law. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. City Clerk, can you get with him and see what we need, and again, if it's anything from the council, please let us know.
Sure.
Thanks, ma'am. Mr. Michael Dalton?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, boy. I'm sorry. Mr. Manson.
Today I'm speaking on behalf of Derrick Avenue. My name is Michael Zardy, and I live on 9 Derrick Avenue. And this is a little bit more serious because it's something that's close to my heart, is that I would like to request for speed bumps or speed breakers on my street. We do have a nice little sign that does say 25 miles per hour, but the majority of people seem to use our road as a get-through road where they speed down it at 40 miles per hour. There have been 2 car crashes since we've lived here on our street. There has been a motorcycle wreck even where they got stopped up and skid all the way down our street. It was a bad time. And this has become an issue because I have had pets. 2 pets die within the past couple of weeks of each other, where it seems that people are not caring, not looking out, not being cautious enough, and not following the speed limit signs. And it's not only my pets. We have seen dogs. I know they're not supposed to be getting out, but even if you had an animal or a pet, you would still not want someone to hit them, and you should be a bit more cautious. We live about 1 house down from our stop sign, which most people seem to run past. And since I've lived here since 2009, we've probably had about 4 cats get hit by a car. I've seen other people's pets. The majority of the people on our street are a bunch of elderly citizens, so there is a big diverse group of citizens where half of the population is a bunch of elderly citizens and the other half are young children. There are people on our street that have families, and then even when they don't have families, they sure have a lot of people visiting them. And I think it is quite tragic that if a pet can get hit, a child could get hit, or someone taking a jog down the road. And on our crossing streets, we have James Street. There is a police car that sits there waiting for all those cars about to run that stop sign, which they do. They get plenty of people. And I find that ineffective. I think we need something that would actually alert them, because I've heard so many of my classmates even say that they are speeding down on my road. And through the night, we can hear people rev up their engines and blaring their music going 90 to nothing on our road. And I think that's it's very sad. I spoke with the fire department about our street even, and they had definitely told me that if an animal can get hit, that a child could get hit. And I think that is very scary, because I know classmates that do have siblings that were hit by cars, and it's a very tragic thing. It's a very scary thing. Okay, just a little bit more. We have had our mailbox ran over, where they went all the way up on the curb and threw our mailbox in the yard. They were polite enough to come by and leave us a note that they were going to fix it, but they had lost control, and I think that's something quite dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to refer this to our city manager, and you with the police chief, and work this out.
Thank you.
The next person, Mr. Dexter Clyde. Come here, Dexter.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, council. My name is Dexter Clyde, 215 Creekside Chelsea, and here for a request today. During the month of December, our crew is scheduled for a major renovation. Our crew class is going to be, replaced, it's close to about 15 years old. In order to do that, the pool will have to be drained, work completed, and, the pool built back up. We're estimating that it's gonna take between 80 to 100,000 gallons of water. So, we're anticipating in January, February to receive an enormous bill. So that's why I'm here today to, ask you out of the kindness of the heart, if you can bill us at the lowest tier. I called the officer, spoke to her, the young lady, and she said that, she didn't have that authority, but I was able to inform you of the issue. So what we did today is ask you, keep that bill, and we'll take that in February. If you could, show us that lowest tier, our subdivision would really appreciate it.
This again, I will forward to the city manager to work with him on this problem.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Alfred Williams with the Ethics Board.
Hey, background, William Kendall, Southampton. When I come here and talk about ethics, I really come here to talk about something else that's going on that just kind of like brings to like attention as far as in planning. The school system around here, Henry County, I'm gonna call out these names, Henry County, Happy Henry Online, Eagles Landing, Stockbridge, Dextown, Locust Grove, Ola, Union Grove, Woodland, Locust Grove. The new school is gonna be built in Madonna High, and there's already 2 more schools in the planning stage. That's a grand total of 14 5A schools, approximately 4,000 kids in each school. I want to bring that to your attention to start looking at it, that we need to look ahead and see the county is not building all these schools for no reason. There's a big reason. And we saw a lot of it today with these young people in front of us. There's more coming. In that, one of the kids and also a parent, adult, asked me today to talk to the city about, talking to the county about sidewalks, stoplights, and crossing guards. You know, in the other portion of the county, you see sidewalks, stoplights, and crossing guards in front of their schools. We have no sidewalks, crosslights, crossing guards, or stoplights. We need to take a look at that and see what we need to do in order to get it. That portion, development. Locust Grove was screaming and yelling when they said they're going to build an outlet mall at Locust Grove as a small town. They didn't want it. But they love it now because that's their main source of income. Stockbridge hated the fact they were going to build hotels up and down 75. They hated it. They love it now because it's their main source of income. Madonna loved the fact that they have pulled in Southern Crescent, Mercer, and every other university in this local area, and onto their campus area. That's where all the education will be conducted. Now we're looking at us. We have the airport, the new Regent Park, which is the Nash Farm Park, because they're super park. We also have NASCAR. We need to try to figure out how we're going to conduct business with all 3 of those agencies. All 3 of those agencies bring people and money. So just wanted to put it out there, let's think ahead, and let's look and see what we can do so that we know what's going to be happening, because it is going to happen, as far as we're going to or not.
Thank you, sir. Any more public comments? Please come forward. Give us your name and address. Come on.
My name is Gary Smith. Been a resident of Hampton for about 20 years and live over off of Elm Street, almost Court. One quick comment and then we'll talk about this. All y'all know what that is. I want to say thank you to the one person that showed up at the SPLOST 5 committee meeting over at the community center. I got to figure SPLOST 5 was, being we voted for that money to be taken at the cash register or anything we did, that it'd be important enough
to figure out for the future where that money was gonna go, what we were gonna do with it, strictly for planning. So, if the person would like to be recognized for taking care of his duties, would please raise your hand. Nobody wants to own up to it. Okay, well, anyway, this is a copy of the 2017, budget for Hampton. And anytime when I go and ask what's going on, and I keep getting the same answer over and over again, I start to wonder why. Back in the old days, a perfect example of...
Gary, you can finish your comments,
Excuse me,
please.
excuse me. From my history, anytime somebody doesn't ask why, all they do is do and die, 58,000 of them. But anyway, that has nothing to do with it, even though it's Veterans Day. I keep getting, can't talk about it, can't talk about it, can't talk about it. So there's something in here that is happening. And I haven't had time to digest all of it, but it's kind of pertinent thing. Down here on one line it says that, where'd that big number go? Something like, oh, there it is. 9,660,000 for total budget. And it says, down here at the bottom, budget summary. On the back of this thing, it says, renovation of community center, $100,000. I didn't even know we had a community center. So, being that there's very little interest on most people for where all the money goes, I think that what I'm gonna have to do for my sanity is to find out what I can, since nobody really wants anybody to know. So, that's all that I've got to say. I got 2 years before election.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Don?
Good evening, Tom Greer, 20 McDonald Street. Read resolution number 2018-05 that establishes a forum policy for public meetings. Section 1 states that, quote, "It is in the intent of this section to foster confidence in government through encouraging civil and respectful meetings," unquote. Section 3, subsection A states that, quote, "Each speaker must maintain a decorous demeanor and refrain from personal attacks upon members of the governing body, shouting and using obscene language," end quote. The resolution addresses only comments made by the public, not comments made by council members. Based on what happened at the end of the public comment section in the October council meeting, a definite need exists for a forum policy resolution to address comments made by members of the council. This council needs to lead by example to ensure that we have civil and respectful meetings. Good and effective leadership is not selective. It does not lead only those in agreement with its own ideology. Good civilian leadership does not tear others down to build itself up. Good leadership does not publicly air its grievances with the mayor, co-council members, or members of the public. The public comes to these meetings to follow and participate in our local government. We deserve the civil and respectful meetings that the current resolution demands of us. Thank you.
Okay. Any more public comment? Please come forward and give us your name and what you want to talk about.
Holt, Double Rock Road. Tonight, I'll try to be brief, not repeat once again, which I've so often spoke of, that transparency and all of this. I am going to chastise a council member for what I feel were inappropriate comments.
First of all, you have to address just me. You can't call any councilman's name.
I'm not.
Okay, you can't chastise council, you have to address me.
Previous comments made that were totally inappropriate before this is looked. Right now, I would like to know what happened with our budget. Why were so many established action by dates totally unfulfilled, evidently? They're there for a purpose. Somebody should, I'm imagining, keep track of those action dates. And in doing so, they would have completed the necessary action for a budget to be prepared. And then we see this resolution added on tonight to approve a consult agreement resolution for contractual services with a company from July 13th of 2018 through November of 30th for financial consultation. Have they been consulting and not approved by this council? If so, who approved it? And why does this kind of stuff keep going on? There's too much that is being missed. And I can only hope that the new directors that have been brought on board are going to see to it that these kind of things are not continuing. It's ridiculous. Now, I don't know what you people on the council are doing, but it would seem to me, like, for instance, the budget. We have a council finance committee, so they kind of ride herd on what's going on through the years and budget planning and all of that. It would seem that they would. If not, somebody needs to make some changes. We cannot rely totally upon our hired people when we have a city council sitting that is supposed to be overseeing things and establishing the policy that this city follows. And I would like to see some action. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comments?
Mayor?
Mr. Brown.
I'm not sure why, or if you can or can't, but I kind of agree with these residents as far as at least a summary or an update, because we just did a workshop this afternoon at 4 o'clock, and we got an update on where we are with the budget review, or from the consultant. I don't know if that's something that's going to be distributed in the form of a minute that they can get and see where things are, or would it be appropriate or inappropriate for someone here to give a summary so that they at least know that we're working on it and where we are with it?
I'll look toward my city manager.
I can give a quick summary for the public. Yes, there was a 3 o'clock work session so that we could disclose to the council first the findings of what we have identified relative to the financial reporting as well as contributions to the budget process itself. Rather than going line by line about what came about, I think it's very clear that we identified some work that is necessary to bring us to the point where we can have a substantial budget, a comprehensive budget, one that is compliant with generally accepted accounting principles, one that is also compliant with Government Finance Officers Association, and one that meets the needs and strategically. I will summarize that I think the council left with a consensus that we will be working vigorously from now until the end of the year, and our goal is to have everything done and present it to the public, which includes public meetings and workshops and breakdowns and deliverables by the directors themselves with a target of 12/31/2018.
Thank you, sir. Okay, any more comments? Yes, ma'am, please come to the podium, give us your name and address and what you'd like to talk about.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
My name is Jesse Bliss, I live at 101 Madison Drive. I attended the town hall meeting at the end of the month, and I know there was a lot of concern about the zoning. And toward the end of the meeting, there was a resident who lives off of East Main, and she mentioned, she was talking to me about how it's just a one-way, it's not a one-way, but it's only a one-lane each direction on East King. And so the challenge is, or the assumption is, that once in conjunction with the mixed-use properties being built, that there's not going to be a widening of the roadway. And so, and I'm going to assume that with the engineers, and the reason what she mentioned was because there's like, I guess, a little building type thing. But when I talked to her, it made sense about that concern, and I didn't, until this point, I haven't really heard a specific overview of how they plan to accommodate the flow of traffic. And it also reminded me of Hampton Locust Road and when the schools were built. And I know Mr. Williams mentioned it earlier, but I just want to place some emphasis on it, that that's also a one-way roadway. And that street gets extremely congested before, during, and after school hours. And although those schools were built maybe about 8 years ago or something, I remember when they were being built, it was exciting to see these new structures going up for our kids and our grandkids. And but today, that area does not have, I mean, we're talking about the surrounding the school, there's no sidewalks, there's no street lights at night, and now the daylight saving time is ended. There's a concern regarding our kids' safety. And even when individuals have to stop in the roadway and make a left turn, there's too much traffic congestion. And I hope that there's, I don't know if there's been a traffic study completed or something like that. If not, I think it's well overdue. That needs to be done in addition to considering putting sidewalks there. I talked to one of the high school students earlier, and she was saying that how she was extremely, the youth council, they were planning on moving it up to the city council. And so we would be remiss as parents, as citizens, not to take the lead on that versus that we have to have our youth do it. And so basically what I'm trying to articulate has to do with some of the, our citizens not wanting to have mixed use on their street or around the corner because it's going to increase traffic. So we have on Hampton and Locust Road already. We also have it going down to 20. There's certain times of the day we just don't go. Hampton Locust Road, I have the luxury, I don't have to go down there. I avoid that street just about at all costs. And so one of the concerns I really heard had to do with the flow of traffic. That wherever it is throughout the city, whether it's on East Main Street, South, near the 20 or so, you know, you already have homes there, and then you're going to increase the amount of traffic, amount of residents living there. So that really needs to be part of the overall plan that, and because it's going to be, mixed use, that it will match, that the projections will include future growth for those that will be moving in that area. That's basically what I'm talking about, that the school, that really something to do with that. So that was one of the concerns that was brought up on it.
I would love to put sidewalks down to the high school, but that is not inside the city limits. That falls under Commissioner D. Clements, and I would get her phone number and let y'all contact her. Hampton High School, the middle school, and Mark Quarry are all outside the city limits.
I understand that, but as a resident of this city, and if I had children or grandchildren going on it, I would expect that our city council, or maybe the city manager, has a counterpart in the county that would bring that issue up to us, because I'm sure there was an agreement when it was, in the early planning stage, to put those schools there. And so all I'm saying
I'll
is.
let my city manager give a call to the county.
Yes, thank you, that is a real big concern. Thank you.
Any more comments? Okay, moving on, close the comments, old business, ordinance number 466, second reading. The future land use map, SLUM, has been updated and is to be presented with a resolution by the Atlanta Regional Commission. The Hampton zoning official zoning map has been updated to be in alignment with the FULM FLUM, first reading, October the 9th, 2018, was approved 6-0. Stacy?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So, the ordinance before you tonight is for the adoption of the official zoning map. So this is what some of us have referred to as the final phase or the second phase of this official zoning map. So, if you'll recall, the first phase, we had a hearing for that on August the 14th. And so the second hearing went through, or the second reading went through for that, and so the city has an official zoning map. Those were the parcels that happened to conform to the old future land use map. And so we've waited until tonight to have the second phase of this official zoning map that conforms to the brand new future land use map. So if there are any questions, I'd be pleased to answer.
Before we do that, need a motion to approve or disapprove.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we approve the future land use map. I believe there will be some discussion on a couple of lots.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, now, Stacy, come on back. Okay, we have a motion to approve, and a second. Anybody open for discussion at this time? Henry?
On 86 East Main Street, just talked about a good bit. This property was M1, and the city decided to change it to R1. I believe that's what it is now, a couple months ago. Been M1 since 1988. There's a structure that's been built on this property, which is 6,000 square feet, a commercial type building, and it's brand new, probably $150,000 building. Well, the person that owns this building wasn't aware that it was going to be rezoned, or that it was rezoned until after it had already happened. So I just feel like that this zoning should not have happened. We shouldn't change that zoning. I think it should go back to the M1 like it was originally. And also, there's the high-density mixed-use housing. I think all that needs to be in a conditional use. And the reason why, if you've got 4 big lots where they could go in and put high-density housing, or when if you've got it zoned that, then they could come in and actually say, I want to build on this lot, I want to build this one, I want to build this one, I want to build this one. If it's already zoned that, then you can't shop it. But if it's a conditional use, after the first project's built, you may not want another. You may want to wait a while and see what's going to happen, but you won't have that option if you go ahead and zone this all at one time. They get a blanket zoning of all this mixed use, and I just don't think that's a smart way to do it. I think that's my opinion about that. But the 86 East Main Street, I think the person that owned it has actually came to your office, and I think y'all met with him actually. And then, you can kind of elaborate on that.
Sure. Okay, so we've been speaking with Mr. Sloop for a number of years about his property, and it was kind of the opposite situation. So, for example, there are 2 houses in this area that were associated with Mr. Sloop, and at the time that whole block was zoned M1, so the houses were not conforming. And I wasn't part of the process of sending out notifications to property owners whose zoning districts would be changing, but it was my understanding that the property owners, that the property zoning districts would be changing did receive a notification. But I'm not able to speak to that. I just wanted to bring it up because I wasn't included in that. But regardless, that block was changed to R1, as you said, except for a neighboring parcel, which was a flag lot that was changed to RA, residential agricultural. So now we have a situation where a subsequent owner bought the property with the 6,000 square foot building that's been designated for R1, and it's an industrial building that would have fit into the M1, which was the original previous zoning. That's going to render that building non-conforming. So that's an elaboration on the situation as I understand it. And just for the sake of clarification, it's my understanding that this ordinance is to adopt the official zoning map. And the future land use map is very important, but the ordinance itself doesn't adopt the future land use map, it adopts the official zoning map.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
while we have Stacy up here, and he may not be the right person, but nothing's really easy around here. I don't understand why, but you just said, and this is the first I've heard it, that there are 2 residential homes on that property as it was zoned M1, which is non-conforming because you can't put residential on manufacturing property. Correct?
So these 2 residential homes sit on their own parcels, but they were part of a block in this immediate vicinity. So 2 homes, the 6,000 square foot industrial building, and a flag lot that has since been designated RA, residential agriculture.
Okay, so now my question is, and I don't know who's gonna answer this question, but how does this property, or these 2 properties get permitted to be placed on a piece of property that is not zoned for?
I understand, and I can't answer that question, but one of the houses, I believe, date from the 70s, and the other, I believe, date from the 90s, and I don't have an answer for how those houses were permitted.
Okay, and then the other question I have is that I've also heard that this large building that sits on the property is across its borders or on another person's property. So, my whole problem is that we're just building and putting these things up haphazardly and with no respect to the property line, with respect to permitting. I mean, I don't understand how these things are happening.
I think this happened even before any of us was even in the city government. I think, and my 1970, I graduated high school in 71, so I mean, I was still in high school when all this was done. So, I noticed that our city attorney did do some research on this. Is this correct?
I did. I actually provided you with a lengthy memo about this one property. And in fact, the gentleman spoke at our last meeting at the public hearing to express his disagreement with the rezoning that had already occurred to R1 because he has this shed-like structure. But please be clear that the documentation that exists between Henry County and this city is very poor with respect to these 4 properties that you guys are speaking about. There are houses, it used to be one big parcel that Mr. Sloop subdivided into 4 parcels. He lost 2 of them, I think, in foreclosure or some other. And the gentleman who spoke before you was the purchaser of the foreclosed parcel, and he purchased it with this shed-like on it. And so you've got a situation where the M1 zoning is actually questionable, Stacey, I would think, because the documents don't support that. But if you agree that at one point it was at M1, then the houses that are there were non-conforming. And so now it's been flipped to R1, the houses are now conforming, and the shed-like structure is now non-conforming. But there's so many other issues with this structure that regardless of what the zoning is, there are issues that he has to work out between the county and the city to be able to keep it there. One of which is what Mr. Brown mentioned, was that it is over this property line, and it's not permitted, and it doesn't have a CO, and it doesn't have utilities. I mean, so the list can go on and on. I don't think the zoning at this point is the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that he has if you agree that the N1 was proper back in the 70s, he has a legal non-conforming structure on his property that is, and this is circular, but it's really illegal because it's not, can't be permitted. It never was. Now, how it got there without a permit predates me as well, Mary. So, I have been in conversation with the county, the gentleman's attorney, and if we can leave it there so that we can continue to have those conversations, I'll update you when we get to a solution.
Okay, any more questions? Have a motion by Ian to approve, and a second by Mr. Brown, approve. Any more discussion?
I would like to make an amendment to the motion to change the mixed use high density housing to be conditional use on all the mixed use.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor of Henry's amendment? All opposed? You're opposed? And I get to break the tie. I'm gonna go with Henry. I think that we need to high density, conditional use. That's what's going on.
And so this will put conditional use on all mixed use, not just mixed use. I think it was just mixed use downtown at one point. It'll be all mixed use.
No, on the, secondary zone.
That's not what you said.
That's not. Okay, back to the original.
What just happened?
He just rescinded his vote to approve it.
Only the, mixed use we're talking about here. Cause, 20, the area,
Okay, so what was approved prior to tonight, back in August, was that mixed use downtown had a CUP requirement for any, multifamily, okay? But you have a mixed use, just a regular mixed use, right, that's not downtown. So you have two different mixed use, classifications in your zoning ordinance, mixed use DT and just mixed use. Prior to tonight, and before Mr. Bird's amendment, mixed use downtown was the only thing that required a CUP for multifamily. Mixed use could have, regular mixed use could have multifamily without a CUP. His amendment just put a CUP on mixed use, the regular mixed use. Because mixed use downtown already had the CUP requirement.
so the only, one of the
One of the authorized additional use is the, one cross, like, and Clinton had a, many systems, across 20 over the next side, not nowhere else.
That was all mixed use DT, so it already had a CUP requirement on it.
So, Mr. Attorney, I need your advice here, since he's rescinding his vote.
Well, is he, because he's talking about the one across 20 that some citizens had expressed displeasure with mixed multifamily. So now that you understand that that one already had a CUP on it for multifamily, how are you voting?
Can I say something, Mr. Mayor? So, all four corners at the corner of Main Street and Highway 20, those four corners are designated at last vote as mixed-use development, not mixed-use downtown. Mixed-use downtown development, came from this side of 20 all the way through town.
Did you have a map?
I do, I think that would help.
Exactly.
Let's see. You've got downtown mixed use, and then you have mixed use. There is no mixed use development. There are only two mixed use classifications, DT and then just regular mixed use.
Right, and the purple is the mixed use.
And the, mixed use is, got lines,
Yes, the purple.
and it's kind of brown purple. And then DT mixed use is like a grayish shell color, which is what the property south of 20 is.
Well, this is 20 here.
Right, so that's DTMU. Well, how about we go this way so we can show this?
Yes, sir.
This is DTMU. That's the property that folks had issues with, right? We need multifamily alignment.
I don't think so. Well, this is 20 here, so they have a problem with south of 20.
But that doesn't have the CUP component on it, the strike.
There will be another to add.
The amendment was to add it to only DT. I sent Mr. Byrd an email that confirmed that from the people, the zoning people.
I think the only one that was conditional use was south of 20.
Was downtown, was the regular mixed use. Okay, okay. This was mixed use only. And this one was just, it didn't have the CUP requirements. You clear now? I think I am. So does that change your vote? I guess that's the bottom line is.
I mean, it's all, the mixed use is what's got the CUP on it.
This right here.
Right, it's already got.
And those the area that, short foot, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then, that what the, business was talking about.
So it's already like that.
But you realize Mr. Byrd's amendment would change this to be a CUP as well. You see what I'm saying? He wants to put a CUP requirement for multifamily on anything that's this color.
So how you voting? Go ahead, Henry.
And I like to say the reason for that is that they'll have to come to the council and they control what it is they're gonna put and how it's built. And then, like I say, if they build one corner up and you say, well, I think that's all I want, at high density right now, maybe next year or something, you won't have that option if it's not conditional. If it's something that they can do it, they can come, put in their permit, and they can build whatever that's allowed to be built without coming to the council.
The mayor, I'm gonna vote because the citizen didn't ask for that area. So, I'm, vote no.
Okay. That's what I brought the time.
Yay. Nay. Yay. So now it's 4-2, yeah. And then there's no need for you to break the tie because it will fail.
But how do we handle that?
Yeah. You would need to make a new motion, it would seem, to make this clear. So now what's on the floor is your motion. We can put this out.
Yes. May I ask a question? The motion. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I just want a clarification that the motion included the understanding that the mixed use, the regular mixed use zoning district includes the requirement for conditional use for multifamily. And I didn't understand that, so I just wanted clarification. Thank you.
I was trying to get a sticky stock of, can I write on here?
Yes,
Are you sure?
yes, that's fine.
Oh, okay. So y'all can see what we just showed them. Oh, here we go.
Go ahead, Henry.
I just wanted to say that the citizens didn't want, the city having an issue with that other side of the road. There was 385 people signed the petition saying they didn't want it at all. All I'm trying to do is make sure that we have some control over what it is that gets built there, so we have a nice development, and not just whoever wants to come in, no matter what, if it's on the books, they can do it without coming to the council.
Thank you, sir. Stephanie, Cody, go ahead.
If we approve this like it is now, and they build on one side of that, and the schools get filled, like I told y'all before, our schools cannot handle the extra kids. And then we found out we had a bunch of our children in trailers outside Hampton High and Hampton Middle. What are you gonna do when it comes on the net?
Tell the mayor to step out for a moment. In response to Ms. Bodie, I've spoken with, the principal from Mr. Rohr, as well as Mr. Kiefer, which is our elementary school, principal. And they have both told me that they have available slots for growth. They're not anywhere near capacity in regards to the growth. And what they said were, district lines might get redrawn, but at this point in time, they have several classrooms that's empty at the high school and have space at the elementary school. So capacity level is not, as far as the education system, according to the principals, we're not at anywhere near, or from what they told us when we went to our meeting with them.
When I met with the principal at Hampton Middle, they were only 34 children away from capacity, and that was 2 months ago.
Hampton Middle? I have not spoken with Hampton Middle, only attest to Hampton High School and Hampton Elementary.
So my legal expert over there, where do we stand on this?
No, I shouldn't have said that. So if you can see what I did, I just tried to put a sticky on the color to show the public what we showed the council up there, so you can see, the distinction between the two mixed-use districts and what's required and what's not. Do I have it right, Stacy?
Yes,
Okay,
that's my
perfect.
understanding. In other words, what these sticky notes say is that the downtown mixed use in the shell blue, it doesn't require a conditional use permit for multifamily. But the regular mixed use on the south side of Highway 20, it does require a conditional use permit for multifamily. In other words, it'll come back before the council before it's just approved to be developed. Okay.
And what what Ms. Hartley's motion did was to approve it the way it is currently. What Mr. Byrd's motion was to change all the mixed uses to CUP required for multifamily. What I heard initially was a 3-3 vote with the mayor breaking the tie in favor of all mixed uses being CUPs for multifamily. Then what we heard was Mr. Mitchell rescinding his vote because I would assume because of a lack of understanding of what had just happened. Which we had to get straight, because I had it backwards myself. So, if he rescinds his vote, that means that and votes the opposite way.
Right.
Then that means Mr. Byrd's motion would fail, but you still have Ms. Hartley's motion still on the floor that she got a second for. I don't recall who seconded it. Mr. Brown made a second, and that the board would still vote on Ms. Hartley's motion that's on the floor.
So, Mr. Mitchell, you're rescinding your vote, is that correct?
Ms. Mitchell.
Am I right that the only difference is they'll come to us before they bill it?
Yes.
Why would we not wanna know how many are coming in first?
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Ms. Mitchell.
I'm gonna go with the recommendation to conditional use.
So you're keeping your vote the same, Mr. Yes. Okay, it passed.
It passed. Now back to your motion.
Yes, and then it passed.
So I make a motion that we approve the second reading of the future land use map that has been updated and is to be presented to the rest for the Atlanta Regional Commission, and the official zoning map with the amended version updated, where all mixed use, whether DT or regular mixed use, will have a conditional permit put on it.
Second by Mr. Brown. Any discussion? All in favor? Passed 6-0. New business, resolution 1832, adoption of the Henry County City Joint Comprehensive Plan 2040. Stacy, is this yours?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. So you'll recall that we did have a hearing on October the 9th, and that there was discussion about this, and so it was important for the council to go ahead and adopt this Imagine Henry County City's Joint Comprehensive Plan 2040 update. This is the exact same, there's no change. If there are questions, I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
We have a motion to approve the resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve, Imagine Henry Resolution 1832.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Turner. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
what's been bothering me about this is, I thought we were speaking to Amazon. We should have our own comprehensive plan. And we are joining force with, the county, which we should have our own, just to work with the county. So that we follow the county, plan, but not our own.
Stacy, would you like to address that?
Sure, absolutely. The state doesn't mind if the cities go in together with other cities and with the county to have a joint plan, or if each local jurisdiction goes it alone. The state doesn't mind, as long as there is one that's adopted within the time frame that's required. So, for example, in the past, the city and all of the other cities of Henry County, together with Henry County, have always had a joint plan since it was required back in 1989. It's this go-round, this was the first time that one of the cities of Henry County didn't participate in a joint plan, and that was the city of Stockbridge. But the rest of the cities and the county plowed on, and we assembled this joint plan together. This plan was put together by the Atlanta Regional Commission because it's part of the duty that the city pays. Instead of the city hiring a private consultant to do it. And so we felt like we got the most utility out of that arrangement. But the city didn't have to do it that way. You likely would have gotten the same product. In other words, you could have approached the Atlanta Regional Commission as a standalone city and gotten a standalone document, but it likely would have said the exact same thing. Now, the next go-round, which will happen in 5 years, the city will be approached again about how best to create this document that's required by the state to be updated. And at that time, the decision will have to be made again. Will the city go in together with the other cities and with the county to have a joint document, or will you wish to go it alone?
Mr. Mayor, can I move to Anton? What makes Anton unique is different from each city. And it's great that, Stacey mentioned it, but I'm looking through all these documents. There's nothing stated to me, Anton, on the fuel zone area. A confident plan to me that you created a new idea that we're looking forward to do. But there's nothing there to say Anton here. I want to see the airport, I see the motor speedway, a picture of it that already existed.
I understand. Keep in mind that the racetrack itself is in the county, the airport itself is in the county. But if I could draw your attention, in other words, the city's future land use map is on page 100. And there is information throughout this document that is specific not only to the city of Hampton, but also to the city of Locust Grove and to the city of McDonough. And then there are sections that are just applicable to unincorporated areas of Henry County. So this document treats all 4 of the local jurisdictions that decided to participate. And there are things that are very much the same, and there are things that are very particular to each city. But I don't want anyone to have the idea that it's just one set of all size fits all policies, because that's not the case.
Mr. Mayor, the reason for this, I question this. We talked to various cities, that North Cross and other areas, and we have the comprehensive plan that put them alone. And when I see this, feel uncomfortable about this. Because I'm learning in government, things not really red and white. You might have say this and then it flips over in the next direction. So what are you worried about?
Well, we have a motion to approve or disapprove, and had a second by Mr. Brown. Henry, go ahead.
Stacy, this plan, you don't have to follow it. It's just a plan. You can deviate and do things that's not necessarily in the plan, if that's what you decide to do in 2 years from now or whatever. It's not a document that says this is what you have to do. Is that right or wrong?
Yes, sir. What you're describing is correct to the extent that this is a policy guide. This is not a law. This is not an ordinance. This is a plan. It sets policy for the city, and it's based upon the citizen input, it's based upon the input from the elected officials. And just for the record, within the document, there are 2 sections. Number 1, it starts at page 23, and it's specific to Hampton. And then toward the back, it starts at page 97, and it treats the city's future land use map specifically. So there are areas within this document that are particular to the city of Hampton. There are areas within this document that are specific to the city of Locust Grove. There are areas of this document specific to the city of McDonough. And there are areas of this document specific to unincorporated Henry County. This is not a one-size-fits-all. But I want you to be comfortable with it.
Okay. Lauren?
Yes?
If we adopt this comprehensive plan and we create our own comprehensive plan, would it be any legal issue like that?
Well, it would be kind of just extra work, because you're not required to do another one for another 5 years. And so the adoption of this one satisfies your requirement to have a comprehensive plan. I heard Mr. Bird's question about do you have to follow it? And no, it's not the law, but as it is a guide to plan out zoning decisions or any other things that may come before you, your comprehensive plan is your guide on what you should, or what you plan and what your citizens have inputted to say that your city should look like. for it to be, for your decisions to be defensible and not arbitrary, then that's why you put all the work in the plan, so that you're not just arbitrarily saying yes to this decision, no to this, yes to that. You follow the guide. So I would push back a little bit on just doing whatever you want to do, because that would make this whole law that's required by the state, purposeless. But Mr. Mitchell, if you adopt it, this will be your comprehensive plan that you can amend, but this will be it.
So Mayor, one of the reasons why I asked this question is that, we have created a committee that we're looking at business and the area that we want it to look like. We have that in place here. So, to me, we're doing double work. We have a committee, and we have, the county putting a plan, which is nothing to say what we're gonna do, we're giving us a figure, R1, R2, and zoning, that's what it does right here. And some pictures and graphs. That's what I'm reading right here. So, is that complete?
I've worked with the county on this, been to the meeting, and like the attorney said, this is 5 years. And Councilman Byrd pointed out, it's just a plan. It's just a guide. And if somebody comes before the council, or after they've been to the planning and zoning, then the final vote's gonna be up to the people setting up here. And, I think it's a very good, I think it's a very good plan. Any more discussion? All in favor? Passes 6-0. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Resolution 1835, appoint the city clerk as the one open record officer.
Mayor, resolution 1835, appoint the city clerk as one of the open record officer.
Do you have a second? Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Pass 6-0.
Mayor, just as you guys have approved this will go on our website and also in the Henry Herald, so that the public can be aware that you have an open record, a records custodian, an official one, in which all open records requests must be addressed.
Thank you, ma'am. Resolution 1833, support for in-kind service to the Miss Georgia Team USA pageant. Mr. Combs?
The details have been prepared for you, and so we bring this forward for you with a recommendation to approve for an in-kind of a little over $2,500.
Any discussion? I need a motion to approve or disapprove.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the in-kind donation to Miss Georgia Team USA pageant.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Mr. Mitchell.
I'm getting, since we created the, in-kind contribution, I keep coming every council meeting. And what I want to know, the last time I seen when it was paid out before it come to the council, and I'm not happy about that. So I want to know today, is this money paid out already?
In-kind is not a cash, but what your resolution, yes, what your resolution asks is that before we just arbitrarily do work for entities, that we would bring it to you and we would do the detailed analysis so that you would better understand what those in-kind donations are. There's no cash transactions here, but we are offering support, partnership, many things that benefit our community. You asked in your resolution that we would calculate all of that, and that's what we have attempted to do. So this will not stop. It will continue based upon your resolution that you sponsored, I believe.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not against, what I'm saying is, even services paid that someone get money, we transfer money, either indirectly or directly. Doesn't matter where it goes. We've been paying someone. I mean, what are you saying now? And
All they do over here in Hampton, and I've been a part of this for the last 2 or 3 years, is they have a luncheon at the depot for the girls, and that's it. They're using our building.
I heard what you said to me, but, it's coming every.
Okay. If you notice, you also have another one on for the Christmas parade.
Mr. Mayor, I want to just address, I made the motion because I knew we need to have a discussion regarding this, but I think we may need to revisit our resolution in regards to the in-kind by putting a figure on it, or something too, because I'm just gonna use this one for an example. This is the, Miss Georgia Team USA pageant. We're setting precedents now, and we have that we're gonna give away this kind of in-kind to different organizations or different people, every time we're approached by one. There is no actually though, I think the resolution actually says nonprofit and profit business. It says everybody, so we're setting this precedent and giving away these, or giving away these services that entails goes to dollars. I think we need to revisit this or come up with something different, because as Mr. Mitchell is saying, we have, and this is a practice of the city, okay? We've been doing this forever. As Steve said, we participated in the Miss Georgia from, I don't know anything about this. He said that we participated in some kind of contribution to them each and every year. Now, from my understanding, reading my packet this month, this is a collaboration between cities at this point in time. I guess, who put this on the agenda? Who brought this to the agenda?
I did.
Anybody? You didn't?
I added to the agenda based upon your policy, what you said in the resolution that you wanted all in-kind to come forward, and therefore we have tasked the staff to calculate all that, so that you would be aware of it. Your statement, even in your discussion, said specifically that you wanted to know every time that it came up. Now, would you like to have a threshold, and then maybe I can include them in the city report? That could be wise. So we have calculated. Either way, we have to calculate it. And what you also find here is the memorandum of understanding, because what I have observed since I've been here, there are a lot of conversations, but there's no documentation. And people have come to us and said, oh, last year you did this. And we're like, okay. So now what you have is the beginning of historical documents that shows each year. When we do the Bear Creek Festival next year, we have a template to go from. When we do the Christmas parade next year, we have something to go from. And more importantly, as your fiscal policy, you now know what that trade-off is when you say that we're partnering with somebody. That's what you've asked for, and that's what we have delivered in detail.
Can I ask you, so the Miss Georgia Team USA pageant, did they approach us, or did the city of McDonough approach us?
To my knowledge, they approached us. And it's a continuation, as the mayor said, from previous years. You will also see that there was no permitting or anything, but in consistency, we did meet with them, not myself, but the staff member met with them, and you see the memorandum of understanding so that we clearly know what the expectations were, and therefore, we could deliver that level of service.
Larry, I have one question. As I stated, we have set precedent in regards to these in-kind donations. The information that we've been provided is what we've asked for, so that we will have a totality of what we are actually donating. With that being said, is there any stopping this? I mean, at this point, since we've already set the precedent.
Yes. You can't just stop it. I mean, the Georgia Constitution already said it for you. Don't give away city services or city money. I mean, that's the whole reason why the gratuitous clause exists, is that you shouldn't be doing this. But if you do it, the exception is that it has to benefit the public good. which is a resolution, the policy I drafted for you, provides that case law exception to the gratuity clause of the Constitution. That if you are going to provide, city services or city funds, without requiring payment in return, right? It has to benefit the public good. And so the question is, are the things that you're approving meet that threshold? And if they don't, right, and the public is the city of Hampton, because it's Hampton's or the city's money, it's the city services, right? And the citizens own that. So, for instance, you have a festival at the park, right? If everybody in Hampton is welcome to come to that festival free of charge, and you allow some organizations to rent the park without charge, you've met the benefit to the public good, because Hampton citizens who own that park get to go to the festival that the people are putting on, that you've allowed them to use for free.
I just want to make sure that I really don't know how the Miss Georgia Team USA pageant works. So I was trying to see if it would be a benefit to the city, if it met that threshold. Right.
And if I can answer to that, in your memorandum, you see that we gave you a background on it. I think it is an excellent thing for the Miss Georgia pageant to come into our community. I see natural benefit to our young people, our students get a chance to know that they have been here. Part of our marketing is also that they would brand. Our Director of Economic Development has already started to meet with them to talk about their needs. We will give them Hamptonite things. There is a benefit, there's an economic benefit in them coming and continuing this relationship that has existed. Hence the reason I'm recommending approval, and we calculate the dollars.
Go ahead, Henry.
I got a question. So the facility that they're gonna use, whichever one it is, how does the public have access to be able, is it open to the public? Are they just going there to eat, or?
They're just going to go in there and have lunch, and all of them will come downtown and go shopping.
Right.
Is this on one day? One day?
About a 2-hour event.
So how did we come up with $1,350? Did we rent the depot for $1,350 for 2 hours? How did that number come? Where'd it come from?
That was a calculation that was given by the department that handles those rentals as a projection of what it's going to take to accomplish this.
The goods donated, $420. Do we know what goods were donated?
Yes, they're identified on the document, if you see the details. Tables and chairs for 60 people, linen, laundry of the linen once they've been soiled.
And service rendered, I guess that's the time that the economic development person spends hourly that's that number, where that comes from.
Services rendered by a department, and yes, that will be, for example, since the Public Works Department is going to have 2 hours of setup to make sure that everything is appropriate for them, set up and break down. I even put my time involved as I've been involved in the contract management of this. So, yeah.
I have a question in reference to the depot. Do we have a CO for that?
We do not.
You have a CO for the library, the old library? Any more discussion?
Where do all these people park if they're in the library?
They come in a bus. Any more discussion?
This is all, Lauren.
Yes.
Is there any way we can, bring up a resolution to hold all in kind for right now, until we figure out
If you do that, then you should just put, mail the Christmas parade down too.
Let me say this, it's not fault. I think that you guys are extremely giving and, you care about your community and you want these type of events to come here and you want to be able to help them, especially those, the folks or the organizations that can't afford to put on whatever community event that they're putting on. That's a great thing, right? You have to balance that with the law, though, with the Constitution. And the reason why it should come before you guys, because now you're making a policy decision to go outside of that and make a policy decision that what you're approving does meet the threshold according to your vote. And so if you decide to approve it, I don't think you need necessarily a moratorium on any in-kind, right? But if you decide to approve it, you just made a policy decision that this meets it for us. This is something that's beneficial to our city, and we want it to come. And if you disapprove it, then you're saying the exact opposite.
Mr. Mayor, one of the reasons why, we, rent the depot and the library as well. We make some money from it, not much, and if we keep giving away the library, next thing you know, like 1,500 people come for in kind, and we have no money to make no money from it. So, I'm looking at the finance aspect in the long term. So, if someone can give a better solution from that point, you see that?
Henry?
I guess the biggest issue with this is trying to figure out what is it gonna do for the community? Like, we know what the Christmas parade does. I don't know how many people come, and kids from all over town. We know what that does. We don't know what this is gonna do for the city, so it kind of makes it hard to make a decision as to whether it is in kind and it meets all the criteria, because we don't really know what it's gonna do. So if we do this and it don't do what somebody's saying it's doing, then next year they'll wanna come back and do it again. Well, if we don't think that it met the criteria, then we can say, no, we're not gonna do this time. Or, because we've done it this time, so does that mean we have to do it the next time?
Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
I'm curious as to know whether we have, I know we've done several events here recently, and that was categorized in kind. Several have been done prior to it even coming to the council, so it's kind of behind the scenes. But I'm curious as to how much we've given away in kind since we even passed this resolution 2 months ago.
I can't answer that for Mr. City Manager.
Since I've been tracking it, we are excess of 10. But to your point, Councilmember Byrd, following events, there's reporting that occurs, and what I can do is share that with you. Specifically, after the Bear Creek Festival, they gave us a report. The Main Street Department did a report. We can have more analysis for you. I don't believe that this means that once you approve it, you are always obligated to approve it. I think that this might allow you to start some level of negotiations to people to say, look, we are prepared to give you $2,500. Could you at least pay for the building? Because now we're tracking all of this. And in the memorandum, you see that I am trying to make sure that we are in agreement with expectations. We've had people that assumed that they were going to get the entire building, and they only asked us about one room. This is consistent with those people who are paying for a building in terms of us going through the process.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to exactly what I mentioned. Seems to me we're giving away service and nothing coming to us. If they want to, they come after. Right? Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Turner.
Mr. Jones, people that come and participate from outside the city, and they come, and and then visit downtown and merchants, buying different things from the merchants. They make money off that, so that would meet the criteria that is doing something beneficial for the city. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I also add that word of mouth goes a long way. When you contacted me and said, would you consider coming here and being our city manager, I never heard of Hampton. I didn't know where you were. I had to make some phone calls to some people. So there is a benefit in just allowing people to come in here and having a great, pleasant experience about our community and then going back out and speaking positively about it. We noticed that with the students from Tokyo that came over here from the university. We gave them a proclamation and we gave them a tour right downtown. And I have received much feedback, even to the point of the Tokyo Times doing an article on our city as a result of that. So we get immediate advertisement in an international newspaper because we hosted 12 students. So there's major benefit in deciding to do these. They're not arbitrary. I hear one of the concerns is, does this mean that no one's going to pay to rent the building anymore? That's not necessarily true either, because we still have rental applications coming in, but there are opportunities for the government to partner with someone, and that's what we bring them to you. This has been going on. You just never knew about it. There were people who would say, oh, some elected official told me to come down here, and I say, oh, okay. Or I would see a document in times past where fees were waived. All we're doing now is making it transparent so that you can see it and you can have the discussion that you're having now. Is this a benefit? We tried to give you in the cover page as well as in the MOU some background on the event so that you could have that level of comparison. I still say that this is a noteworthy one, and I can see the benefit of Miss Georgia coming to Hampton.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Pass. You vote? Pass 6-0. Report for in-kind services of Hampton Business and Merchant Association for the annual Christmas parade. Mr. Cody.
And yes, sir, we'll continue that in time with a calculation of a little over $3,700 and the details that follow. And a recommendation to approve.
Need a motion to approve or disapprove?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 18-34.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Pass 6-0. Resolution 1821, Georgia Municipal Association recertification as a city of excellence.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve 1821 Georgia Municipal Authority Association recertification of city excellence.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Pass 6-0.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask you that thank you for passing this because it puts us in place to be recertified, provided we meet all the steps, and I highlight our city clerk who is taking on this as a project. But the Mayor's Day in January, if we are selected, we will be recertified. So I know that everyone has not registered for that. So even if you do not plan to attend the conference, please let me know. I would love to have you attend the luncheon where we would receive this certification, and if nothing else, all of the council collectively could go to the stage. So just please keep that in mind. Even if you don't plan on attending the Mayor's Day, let me know and I can get the luncheon tickets for you. Or you can come as my guest.
Thank you, sir. Special alcohol beverage application to the Jailhouse Brewery Company, LLC, is requesting permission to host a Christmas music celebration open to the public on December the 22nd, 2018, from 6 to 10 p.m. at 8 Cherry Street. Glenn, are you here?
I am.
Come on up.
I think I'm here.
Wake up, you're up.
Who needs a beer?
Tell me about your event.
It's called the Jolly Jam. Local musician from Lovejoy.
anyway, we do it every year. Michael Solcher, he's a career musician, and he came to me about doing this a couple years ago, and it's outgrown our space. So what we want to do is not on Cherry Street like we sometimes do. We just need a little more space. So it will really kind of be within the bounds of the brewery property, the very front of the building to the edge of the Cherry Street loss. We would obviously block that off and do all the pertinent things that we need to do to keep it safe and organized.
Okay, Mr. County, you request approval on this?
Yes, it is recommended for approval.
Need a motion to approve or deny?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the special alcohol beverage event for the Jailhouse Brewery for December 22nd.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any more discussion? Henry?
The only thing that I asked, I know there was a few complaints about the noise and the music being so loud at the last thing, if you just take into consideration and try to make sure it doesn't bother the neighbors too much. That's all I have.
Any more discussion?
I want to thank you for bringing more street stuff into the content. That trying to bring the citizens come together and try to either drink or talk to each other.
That's what we do.
Because it's very tough, you know.
It can be. No doubt.
People fighting each other, and I think that's one of the good things we do.
We don't want people fighting each other at our place, that's for sure.
Have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor? Pass 6-0. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
As I add resolution number, Ms. Clerk, do we have a resolution number?
We have not assigned it as of yet, but I will make sure it happens.
Okay. Resolution blank to approve a consultant agreement for resolution contracting service with Abicon? Okay. CPA LLC to provide budget for physical consultant service for the period of July 13, 2018 through November the 30th, 2018. Need a motion to approve or disapprove?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Pass 6-0. Resolution blank to approve a consultant agreement resolution for contracting service at Adcom CPA LLC to provide financial consulting service for the period of from December 1, 2018 through May 31st, 2019.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve that resolution as well.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, for the sake of understanding.
Okay. There's a motion to approve and a second. Open the floor to the council for discussion.
Now, Mayor, I know we've spoken about it earlier today, but I figure that my bracket is right now 3,500 monthly for 35 service and vendor. And is that we can get more deeply?
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, Mr. Mayor, that this would be treated similar to a as-needed basis, so that it's not tying us up to the whole period, but if we get to a point where we have, we're comfortable with what the results are for services, then we can terminate this contract.
There is a termination clause in there, as we discussed at the work session earlier today. That same 30-day notice termination clause, she repeated in the second contract.
She gonna be on board to, like a transition thing from, financial plan, Ms. Newell?
That is correct. This, contract was developed in concert now with our Director of Finance to identify all the things in addition to, as was shared in the 3 o'clock meeting in detail. Once we got into this, we saw several things that necessitated some investigation. We heard your concern about knowing a full period, so we tried to bring you a full period. It is not intent to guarantee any of this. I think that one of the things that could happen is we will obviously be doing more periodic updates to you. Your finance committee could start to meet regularly to see where we stand with this, and we can make some milestones and prioritize the work. However, we tried to make sure that the scope was reflective, because in previous work, we had the scope one way, and then there were impacts and delays and time and all of those things. So we tried to be reflective. This recommended jargon was reviewed by all the parties based upon our meeting subsequent.
Go ahead, Mr. Harper, you can.
Let me finish with it.
Oh, go ahead.
Could you tell us what type of problems that she was running into, the reason why the delay?
I have an extra memo I'm trying to pull, should have, if I can print one off from the 3 o'clock earlier, where we shared that. Okay. So you can have the detail. I'll just go high level. Inconsistencies with the GFOA standards, GASB standards, and generally accepted accounting principles. Inconsistencies between the budget and the audit. Non-electronic transfers of paper. Audits not matching the budget process with full recommendations. Inability to access or find the necessary documentation or justifications. The ability to do a 3-year trend so that we could confirm the numbers, a page of recommendations. This was a 8-page report that we got today.
Okay, so, I'm looking at these two, consulting agreements that we have. The original one from, the July to, November or September date. I need to find out, why did the compensation increase?
The compensation increased because you will also know that the scope has changed and added in additional things. So, the consultant offered a different amount.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
I'm very displeased with this contract here. Okay. Because, if the agreement is made, the budget is finished by December 31st. All meetings, open, discussion, 3 to 4 meetings, done within that day. And what I'm looking at here, on December 1st, the personal charge for $3,500. I think, Mr. Mayor, I wouldn't approve it on myself. I came up right now, because it's people like that.
Go ahead.
So, in the second agreement, the one that is dated from December 1st to May, with the increase, we have a scope of work on that. But we don't have a scope of work on the previous one. It's not in this contractual services, agreement. Can we go back to the original scope of work? What is the difference? Can you tell me what the difference is?
After we have the budget, we will have a intent to have a purchase order system in place So we will need to have that setup done. Now, if what I hear is we would like the number to be more in line with $2,000 a month, then that's a matter of us negotiating with the vendor to say what things are on this list that we can take to afford a $2,000.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
the only agreement I made is that, we will only have this service because it was done without my knowledge, informed to me, but any contract, any, person being doing the budget, only to December 31st. And that, at that time, the finance director will take over and maintain that information.
So, Mr. Mayor, can I ask Larry? Larry, can, we have the current, consulting agreement that we currently had, according to this document, it ran through, September the 30th. But it had a month-to-month provision in it. And remember, she said at the 3 o'clock that she's worked in October and she's working in November, right? And so when she said that, the question to you guys that I had was, how much are you willing? Should she stop working because you're not gonna pay anymore through November 13th? And so what she brought back was what she has done through the end of November. That's the first agreement that the chief passed out. And then remember the conversation at 3 o'clock was there's additional stuff that may need to be done. And so I asked the question, I said, how long is it gonna take you to provide us the services in which you've been hired? And there were a lot of I don't knows because they gotta get through this process, yada, yada, yada. And so that's when myself, the mayor, the young lady, and Mr. Colton went into a meeting and we discussed what that looks like. And this is what she returned is 6 months to do her services.
So is there any way we can get a contract, consulting agreement that goes to December 31st and stop at that point and we revisit it?
Then you would continue under the first one because it is already month to month.
It also stated on the first one, with option to extend into budget year 2019.
Which
But
we're
that
in.
was in, so we don't need additional one, because the system take over 2019.
Right, but she changed the money.
But the contract.
But the contract, the contract is already there already.
Okay, have a motion to approve or disapprove, discussion. Approve.
I withdraw my motion.
You withdraw your motion. Henry?
I just have a question about.
Go ahead.
About the resolution numbers. Do we not have to have a number before we can pass a resolution? You know?
And really, it shouldn't have been put on your agenda as a resolution. You're just approving the agreement.
Okay. All in favor?
Well, no, there is no motion.
There's no motion, you approve, okay. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve or disapprove? Okay, that one died. Dead. Okay, positive Hampton in their community, start with Mr. Brown, Councilman Brown.
I just want to reiterate, my appreciation and thanks to the students of Hampton High School and our youth council, for representing our city in a positive and, respectful manner. They did a great job, and I think that, the things that they've learned both in Tybee Island and, in Los Angeles is gonna go a long way for us as a city and us as a people. So, I ask everybody to reach out to these young folks, pick their brains. They got a lot more information that they, care to share, but they're sponges, and they soak up a lot of good stuff. Thank you.
Councilman Bodie?
Mr. Mayor, I was out of town and came back, and once again, our town was beautiful with all the crosses up, and I know a lot of the volunteers are here that work to make that happen, and the ones that miss the crosses and put them up, and I just want to thank them for all that they do.
Mayor Pro Tem Mr. Mitchell?
Well, I want to give a kudos to Rebecca for the program she put on, like, in each area, different music festival going on. And I was able to attend one, and she did a very good job.
Councilman Byrd?
I'd just like to, thank the American Legion for coming and doing the programs that they did for the veterans. And one other thing I wanted to mention, this is not a positive thing, I guess you'd say, but, one of our ex-council members that was on this council years ago, Roger Betzel, passed away.
He passed away at 2 o'clock this morning.
I'm gonna have to agree with Henry. Hampton Post 330 did an outstanding job Saturday. Mr. McFarland's wife passed away, and he's offered 2 $1,000 scholarships to students. No, one. Was it one?
Sergeant Major Anderson.
Oh, Anderson, I'm sorry, Anderson, excuse me. Mr. Anderson's wife passed away last year, and he has offered, his daughter said, 2 scholarships for $1,000 to seniors. And he's got there'll be more information I'll have up here at City Hall if anybody's interested in those scholarships. It's very, again, and thank you to the people, the committee that went out here and put these markers up. And they are taking them down Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. So anybody that would like to come out and help, I'm sure they would love to see you here. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I have a personal business?
Go ahead.
This is a message to the city of Hampton. One thing that I'd like to do is that, if someone would pass away in the city of Hampton, please call me. I'd like to visit their home. Because, that's one thing I do. I try my best to help people if I can. Even to, they can't even rate their yard, I come and help them with the yard. You know, I even monetary fund if I have to, I would do help out.